Hey, hi, Mavis. It's really good to see you again. How are you settling this week?
Oh, I'm still trying to like settle in my new place in Sydney, but everything's been fine.
That's good. Yeah. It sounds like a pretty big adjustment for you work-wise. I'm glad you made time for this, and I know moving in from in-person sessions to online will be a little bit of an adjustment. So, thank you for opening up to it as well, and it's really good to reconnect with you today. Before we dive into our goals, I'd just like to take a moment to orient like how online sessions work to make sure you're comfortable and informed. Does that sound okay with you?
Yeah, that'll be great.
Okay, awesome. So since we've already worked together in person, you're familiar with confidentiality as well as consent, but just to go over a few things in terms of online specifically. So first, everything we discuss here is confidential, which means that the same ethical and professional standards still apply. If it helps if we're both in a private, quiet space with phones and notifications off, so I can fully focus on you, and just to like if you need a short break or anything, a stretch, a sip of water, a bathroom, that's totally fine. You can just let me know, if that sounds okay to you.
Yep.
Yeah, so in terms of the technical side of telehealth, it's good that you remain informed. And if you come across anything unsure, unexpected, or just not comfortable with, please bring it up to me so we can work it out together.
Mhm.
Um, in terms of the technical side, online counseling is under a secure encrypted platform that complies with Australian privacy standards, meaning that our session isn't recorded unless we both agree to it. If the connection drops by any chance, I'll give you a quick phone call, maybe within like 1 to 2 minutes, on the number that you gave me, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Yeah, so I can just check right in. And also just at the start of each session where you're calling from, I'll just ask briefly, like, where are you joining in from today? So I will know.
Okay.
So
Like,
where are you joining in today?
I'm in my room right now.
Okay, yeah, that's good. So that's just an emergency. If there's anything happening, I will know, and remain informed. This looks really well set up, so we have a good lighting, good sound, hopefully good internet. No lagging, no cutting off. If at any point you can't hear me or see me clearly, please let me know so I can adjust and do the same for you. Yeah, and while telehealth, I guess, gives you flexibility, it also means that we both have the shared responsibility for privacy and safety. So if I won't discuss anything obviously online through email or text. We'll just stick to this one secure link that we go back to every single session that we meet. And if anytime you feel uncomfortable, say someone walks into your space or your room, you're always free to pause, to reschedule, or even just to like give me a little text on the chat box there. Um, and if you feel like you're distressed or at risk for any reason during the session, I have your emergency contact details as well as GP's information, but I'll only use that if it's really, really absolutely necessary. Does that sound okay with you? Any questions?
Okay. No, not for now.
Okay, that's good. So I want this to feel safe and a collaborative setting, just like it is for in-person counseling for us. Um, yeah, so if you have any, I guess, questions about telehealth, online counseling so far?
Okay, I guess I'm just a bit like nervous about what happens, like what you were saying, the internet drops out halfway or like the screen freezes while we're talking about something important. How will it be like? Will the sessions
Yeah.
be rescheduled or would it just be on phone?
Right. Yeah, I think that's a really good practical question, I guess. Technical glitches do happen occasionally, freezing and things like that. If that ever does occur, I would say that we will just give it a pause and try our best to reconnect on this link first. That would be step one. But if it really doesn't work within like a minute or two, then I will call you directly if that's okay to just see where you're at, and you can clarify with me like what's happening from your end, or I can do the same for you. But yeah, I think it's normal to feel uneasy about these interruptions, especially if, like in the middle of something important. So what matters to you is that you feel safe, you feel supported, and we can hop right back into that discussion, if that's okay. And just to try to like, go off from there, if that's all right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think sounds good. It is like contingency plans. I guess another thing is so partners around and like they overhear our conversation and all that. Did
Um,
the screen just lag?
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, is it okay if you just repeat the question? I didn't hear you.
Yeah, sure. Now, I was just saying that sometimes I worry about the privacy issues. Like if my partner's home at that point in time, what if they overhear what we say, or what if they walk in?
Yeah, I think that's really good. I mean, it's obviously valuing confidentiality again. So together we can plan for that. Maybe I would suggest using headphones, would be really, really good. So, even if someone does walk in, they're not able to like hear the conversation right away. I would say choose a time and a space that's a little bit more quiet, where you know that there's, minimal interruptions. But obviously it's inevitable and it might happen. But that's okay. I think as long as you feel like it's a private, safe space for you, we can always make those adjustments. Yeah.
Okay. And also one thing, I feel kind of like self-conscious being on camera. Like, is it okay if I turn it off sometimes, or do I have to keep it on throughout?
I would say like feeling anxious and a little bit uncomfortable at the start with camera is really, really common because we're so used to like the in-person um presence and the interaction that we get to have. But I think it's like you're welcome to let me know, obviously, if you really feel uncomfortable about it. A short break or, switching the camera off briefly, I think would be okay. But I would say that what I usually find easier and more helpful is to with the camera on is to like read those expressions and to read your emotions and just to really understand you a little bit better like while seeing you just like in person. But again, we'll go according to your pace and we can build on that comfort gradually.
Okay, that sounds good.
Hmm.
Uh, I guess just one last worry that's in my mind is that like, will sessions still feel the same? Would the connection still be the same as compared to in person, especially when you're not physically here?
Yeah, I think that's again, that's a really normal human concern to have. Like we're so used to the physical presence. Of course, there are differences. We cannot say it's exactly the same. And you value that sense of closeness in person. It's normal to feel unsure about it. Many clients do notice that the connection actually builds back up quite naturally after a few sessions or two. As long as the conversations, the connection, and just I guess me being really present and focusing on you. Checking in with you would be more important, I guess. Keeping in mind more check-ins, especially online, using reflection and summarizing, and how I would usually, speak to you, hear you, to make sure you feel seen, to feel heard, to feel understood, even through the screen is what I'll try to do best. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, sounds good. Yeah, I don't have any more questions for now.
Okay. Well, I guess like something I can just run us through really briefly is CBT, right? So we've been working through cognitive behavioral therapy with you for a while in person, and I guess connecting through with those goals and looking at the patterns between your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. We have been using the thought diary, right? So the good news is even online, this transfers really, really well. So I would say I would still use guided questioning, worksheets, and reflections. So there's this one function on Zoom where I'm able to share screen with you. And what that means is we'll be looking at the same thing. So do you see the thought record
Yeah.
I have here? Yeah, so that's essentially what we kind of do on Zoom, where we're able to look at the screen together. We're able to even edit and type it out and type things out together for more engagement, I guess, which would apply the same in person, right? And I guess, yeah, so that visualized space on Zoom is really, really helpful. And there's also the whiteboard feature as well, giving you a little bit more autonomy to add those reflections in your own time. I guess like the difference with in person and online is that we use technology to support the process of the therapeutic relationship and it'll give you more autonomy so you can fill those worksheets in on your own time. We can upload them, we can look at them together. I think it's easier once you get the hang of it. I think it's a little bit new for now, but yeah, it's still really, really good structure while remaining that flexibility. But yeah, before we finish today, maybe I can just recap. We covered how telehealth sessions will run, discuss privacy and safety, explore how CBDs translates online, and answered some of the questions you have. I think you did a really good job in identifying what's important to you. And yeah, I was just wondering, how does that sound with you?
Yeah, that sounds great. Like there's contingency plans and
Hmm.
eases quite a bit of my worries. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm feeling confident, I
Yeah,
hope.
yeah. I'm happy to we can gradually work this out together and see how you go. Thank you for being so open and adaptable today. Yeah, I look forward to seeing you in our next session.
All right, see ya.
Yeah. Um, Hi there. This is a short reflection I'll be doing on my very first telehealth counseling session with my client Mavis. I'll be reflecting on three areas of effective practice and areas of improvement, linking them to micro skills, ethical awareness, as well as telehealth principles that I've learned throughout this unit during the role play. The first one, in my opening minute, I would say I focus intentionally on creating warmth and presence, like smiling softly, leaning forward a little bit, and greeting Mavis by name with "It's really good to see you again online." And I think her relaxed tone and her smile in response suggested that this approach has been. I really try to reduce that like initial distance, anxiety, and awkwardness even on camera, setting a collaborative tone. I made a conscious effort to really try to apply the solar postures, steady eye contact, as well as like looking into the camera using minimal encouragers to simulate the in-person attunement that we would have in counseling. I would say this combination showed me that empathy and connection can really be conveyed through a screen with like your tone, your body language, and timing as well. Another strength would be clear and collaborative explanation on telehealth procedures. When I covered confidentiality, backup plans, and like privacy measures, I noticed that my client says, "Okay, yep, that makes sense," and nodded, which indicated at least comfort and some understanding. I used a calm and steady tone and tried to pause as best as I can to check in with her reactions. Um, Framing that process less of like just a checklist but more of like a collaborative dialogue. And I think saying we both have responsibility for privacy and safety really helped normalize that accountability and how we both have a part to play, and client autonomy as well. I feel like I communicated those ethical principles in accessible language. And looking back, I think this section really reflected on my growing competence into like using policy language in a client-friendly communication that actually makes them understand well. And the third strength was probably my use of reflection, sharing concerns about like when Mavis shared concerns about privacy and anxiety. I would say when she said, "Oh, I feel conscious on camera," and I responded, "That's really common. You're welcome to turn off briefly if you need." And her shoulders relaxed and smiled, I think, which showed me that, validating those emotions and offering choice can really build safety. And she also said, "I feel like I'm not, it's not the same connection wise." And I said, "You value that sense of closeness." So I think that response helped ground her and maintain that alliance well. Um, Three areas of improvement. I think the first one would just be balancing structure and exploration within the 10-minute limit. I think it's quite short, but I spent maybe a little bit too long explaining on like the encryption and the platform logistics, and maybe reducing and like I should have spent more time spacing for deeper emotional processing. Like I think even though it is ethically important and really really key, especially in the first few telehealth setting counseling sessions, summarizing them maybe a little bit more succinctly would have helped to explore Mavis's feelings about the transition more in depth. Um, so this really helps me learn more about like refining my pacing and prioritizing time management in a telehealth session might look a little bit different, and is really a good point to take away. I would say the second growth area is probably nonverbal presence. So watching the recording, I noticed that my eye line would drift like back and forth a little bit when I glanced between the shared document or the examples or screen sharing and Mavis's like face. So that momentary loss of visual connection, I think she would have been able to tell, which might perceive as like weaker engagement. To improve that, I think I will practicing like telehealth, maintaining that digital eye contact as much as I would in person. Sometimes it's a little bit distracting with screens, so yeah, and just like small visual reminders to be near the webcam, because it really does convey a lot more warmth and attentiveness and steadiness as well. A third form of improvement I would say is the flow when I introduce the CBT tool. Like I think demonstrating the shared thought diary and my like when I screen shared that, I think it suddenly shifted into a little bit more instructional and like, okay, this is how we go through this and this and this, than collaborative. So I could have stopped and paused a little more to, um, I guess, like check in with how Mavis is feeling about it. Even though she said, "Oh, that sounds really helpful," I realized I could have invited more prompts to reflect. Like, as we fill this in, notice what feelings come in for you, and let me know how you feel. So that small adjustment would have integrated really well organically. I would say overall, this session, this assignment really strengthened my confidence in using digital tools ethically as well as relationally, making sure that they both hold, a good weight in what I do and what I practice in my practice. And it really reaffirmed the therapeutic presence can be intentionally cultivated through clarity, compassion, and just being very, very mindful and present, even through a screen and counseling. Yeah. Thank you.